everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The new Suicide Squad game has been the talk of controversy since its first reveal. The game received so much backlash, in fact, that it was delayed. But did the delay make a difference, and is it a good game? Let's first take a look at the gameplay and see. The gameplay is a squad-based shooter where you play as a member of the game's Suicide Squad. The playable characters are Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, or Boomerang. Each character has their own traversal abilities, ranging from a grappling hook for Harley to simply jumping around as King Shark. The traversal is varied enough between each character to make them feel very different, but when it comes to dishing out damage, you'll mostly rely on guns. Putting this all together, the flow of combat results in jumping around the arena, shooting the enemies as you go, and avoiding damage. However, if you do take damage, there is a shield recharge mechanic that involves taking out enemies at close range. High risk, high reward style. Outside of combat, there is a level system as well as a talent point system, and gear drops. That means that you will build your character and will get stronger as the enemies do as well. Speaking of enemies, you'll be facing them during each objective, as the game is an objective-based open world. But what about the storyline? That should be a big focus, right? The story, of course, follows the ragtag team of the Suicide Squad. They are taken out of their cells and thrust into the city of Metropolis, which has been taken over by Brainiac. The Justice League has been turned and is now working for Brainiac. As there are bombs planted in the heads of each Suicide Squad member, they have no choice but to fight if they want to stay alive, even if it means they will have to kill the Justice League. Each character brings their own personality, and somehow they manage to work together. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? Yeah, we're talking about the game that is all about killing the Justice League, but somehow people, I don't know, they don't read the title or they just decide to gloss over it. Yes, you are killing these characters that a lot of people really like because they have a childhood connection to them or whatever it is.
Exactly. We've known this title for years. It's not like they just magically showcased the title of their most recent installment 6 months, before the release of the game.
Exactly. And this game is written from the perspective of these criminals, the Suicide Squad. They're not good people and they don't like the heroes. So of course the deaths that they are written into these heroes, they're not good deaths. They're not glorious deaths.
No. I guess I got to speak for the people online, Henrik. You can't go there, man, because, we've been developing reels. We've been developing memes, trying to engage conversations online to see how people were feeling. And you know what the number one complaint that I kept seeing and receiving on my end, Henrik, was?
What's that?
That the Justice League didn't die honorably. How is that? How could that truly be the case? Were you dissatisfied?
I will say, if anything, the thing that I will critique about their deaths is that, you're in the middle of the fight, you're really shooting them down, and then it's an anticlimactic death. All of a sudden, a cutscene plays, and they start bantering. There's never really a moment for the evil villain, which is really the inside of the heroes at this point because they're being controlled by Brainiac. They never get that moment to be like, you beat me.
So you kind of felt like it was cheap because, the alien supervillain Brainiac invades, Earth, takes mind control powers on the Justice League. And so what you're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, you just kind of felt like some of the cutscenes should have just kind of broke away from the Superman being mind controlled from Brainiac, and so we could have at least got somewhat of a human level from the likes of Superman, Green Lantern, even Wonder Woman, The Flash, and so much more.
Yeah, no, because I think it would have been written better, and people probably would have actually enjoyed this more if it was like at their last moments of breathing any life, they break out of control from Brainiac and, have a moment as the Justice League character once again. I mean, there's even a moment when Princess Diana, Wonder Woman, she has Flash on her lasso, and she's like, "What are we going to do, Barry? What do we do?" He's like, "You have to kill us, Diana.
Yeah.
You have to kill the Justice League."
But didn't you feel that, though? I mean, that was cool.
It was cool, but I mean, when we say all this though, like I don't know about you, Chris, but me, I don't really think I can really defend the game to a certain extent because yes, there's plenty to do at first, and it is actually pretty fun for the first few hours. But then you kind of realize, oh, okay, this game really repeats a lot of the same things all over again. Every mission or every other mission
Yeah.
might be the same objective that I have to protect a car or go find some civilians and bring them back to this truck. And are you really gonna blue ball us as the gamers with the ending of the game? Like, you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna finish the story because we want to put it in our live service model, and we're gonna
Yeah.
charge you
No, you
more
just
for it, of
nailed it.
course, as well." Hey, you're telling me that basically you have the story all figured out. And I mean, granted, they took like 7 years to make this game, so they definitely had the time to flesh out the game and make a full-on story. And instead, they're like, no, we're going to chop it up into little pieces, and
Yeah,
then we're going
that
to deliver it to you bit by bit.
Yeah, that really was the ironic part, because it is a $70+ game, and we just saw recent installments like, let's say, Assassin's Creed Mirage, right? That decided not to make their price tag at $70, decided to do it $50. They have a gameplay for their campaign roughly about 15 hours. Well, this campaign has 10 hours. It's such a bummer because that is the best part of the game. The story
Yeah.
is incredible. At least that's how I feel. I know a lot of people were upset about certain, cutscenes that were massively leaked, like the Flash, getting killed, and then, one of the Task Force X, pees on him, and they felt like that was like, really? That's a total F you to the superheroes that we grew up and loved. And I think this is such an important reminder that it's such a bummer to see stuff like this for Rocksteady Studios, which reminded me of very much what Naughty Dog experienced during their whole Last of Us Part 2 trying to
Hmm.
release the game. A good majority of the storyline was completely leaked. Like, all of it. And when people only see the cutscenes and don't really necessarily play the gameplay for themselves, it's completely a disservice because these four characters kind of have something that's very unique that could have worked out to be very, very cool. I don't know about you, Henrik. I've been dying to play as someone like a king shark. I think that's really cool that you get to leap over like tall buildings in a single jump, or Deadshot. Pretty basic for a lot of people, but he's got his own jetpack. Captain Boomerang, he's got this really cool Speed Force glove that allows you to teleport to different locations. And then Harley Quinn was kind of basic, I guess, on a level. They kind of just resembled the same thing Batman was, right? Or
Hmm.
Spider-Man, with the slingshot grapple. So there are moments there, but I'm with you. I think that's the problem. You push for a live service, but then you're not really giving us much detail until what was the date? Like sometime around March when we'd
In
actually
March,
start
yeah.
getting the first real update about what the live service is going to entail. So I feel the frustration. The whole story got spoiled to you on the internet, and now you're like, what else am I supposed to look forward to more than let me pitch in $70 and then you want more money to continue the story? Nah, I'm not going to fly with it.
Yeah, and it really just makes you as the gamer playing the game feel like, man, you didn't have to do this live service model. Like, I get it if you want to sell skins, like cosmetics and all that. That's kind of inconsequential when it comes down to the gameplay. But when you're trying to divide up the story and then feed it to us later, either that's because you didn't finish the game actually, even beyond the delays and the amount of time it took to develop the game itself, or you just decided, screw you, we want to make more money, so instead we're gonna
Well, it's
feed
all
it to you
absolutely
bit by
about the
bit.
money. And it's absolutely about the money. And, I'll give
Yeah.
you guys a little bit of a teaser that's going to be coming up later in the show. Henrik the Wreck and I are going to be discussing breaking news where, there is Disney now being joining forces with Epic Games that did a $1.5 billion equity stake into creating an entertainment universe with them. You also got over 500 studios that have all committed to creating more live service games. Why is that the case? Because you look at the likes of Electronic Arts, for example. Last year, 73% of the revenue was what? Earned through live service games. That
Yep.
is insane. And so, unfortunately, this model will not change unless you, the gamers, really give the middle finger to the AAA studios, because why change something that's not broken?
True. I mean, it's making them money. But I mean, going back to the gameplay in the actual game, I don't know about you, but I also was kind of disappointed that really your main source of doing any damage is guns when you're
Yeah.
playing supervillains. You got someone like King Shark. He's a big shark. He's a demigod, and you're
Yeah.
gonna make him just shoot things. I mean, yeah, you do have abilities and things like that to kind of fill in the gaps, but the majority of the damage you're going to be doing in the game, don't fool yourself, it's with guns,
Yeah, and then
which
a
is
lot of
really a
people.
letdown considering it's a supervillain game.
Oh, I'm with you too, and I saw a lot of threads online too that were also going, isn't it kind of crazy how you could play Injustice 2 and it feels like there's more customization features for their characters on that game compared to
Yeah,
this new
that's
recent installment, with Warner Brothers. So there's a
yep.
lot to, kind of figure out. For me right now, it's a definite pause. There's nothing that really kind of intrigues me to want to stick around even for the new Joker Elseworld.
The
It,
Jonkler.
yeah, the Jonkler. That's pretty funny. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing that's really kind of gravitating me right now, unless, the live service implemented more story based, but it's not necessarily what I'm seeing as of right now. But hey, Henrik, what are you vibing with? I kind of have a feeling I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, if it wasn't obvious, for me it's also a pause. I'll say for the majority of people, this is not really a game that you're going to want to pick up right now. Maybe down the line, when a lot of more
Yeah,
content comes out through the live service and that fleshes out the story more, and the game goes on sale and it's not $70,
exactly.
enticing for you to pick it up and play it with your friends because you can do that as well. You can play with up to three other people
Right.
and have
It's
some
a
fun
beautiful
doing that.
landscape. I mean, who
Yeah,
hasn't want to run around Metropolis? I don't know about you, but it's a blast, and you're gonna have fun with that. And I guess the last final note, I guess we got to hear from you guys, or you, Henrik. I don't know about you, but a lot of DC fans felt like this game was filled with wokeness. Did you
I
hear
mean,
about any of this because of an
it didn't
LGBTQ
it
plus
didn't really
flag?
like bother me. I didn't even see the majority of the decorations on the walls as I was speeding past them,
They're
as one of
mad
the
at a
characters.
rainbow. They're mad at a rainbow. I mean, it's just crazy that you got certain people that come in maybe to stir the pot with their quote unquote agenda, and if that's the only thing that they're worried about, then just take it for what you will, gamers. They probably haven't played the game yet.